Good afternoon and welcome to each and every one of you beautiful people to Comic-Con Mania Chester. My name's Tom, I've got the pleasure of hosting this gorgeous afternoon for you all, and right now, if you guys are all ready, we are prepared for our first wonderful panel of the afternoon, and we have got an absolute treat in store for you. It gives me the greatest of pleasure to introduce you to a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Deep Roy!
Thank you. What a warm welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And the weather, is it going to rain?
Well, let's hope it doesn't. Let's hope the sun bursts through those clouds and we keep everything positive with smiles on our faces and love in our hearts.
I like that.
Beautiful. Well, welcome to Chester. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's good. What do you think of all our wonderful cosplayers that you've seen already throughout the course of the day? They've come in, their outfits are sensational, they look brilliant. Anybody taken your eye already?
They're all good, all amazing.
They are, and they put so much time and effort into them. Can we have a round of applause for all our cosplayers? Guys, you are amazing.
Thank you, yes.
Loving the Mario, loving Super Mario right here.
I thought he was a McDonald's guy.
I can be whatever you want me to be.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's what she said, beautiful. Well, let's start at the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start at the beginning with Deep Roy's wonderful career. We're going to go a nice little deep dive into Deep Roy. And let's talk about how you got started in the world of showbiz and what your family's perception was of you joining this wonderful, wonderful group of people. Because you were training to be an accountant, right?
You're absolutely right. You've done the research. Yes, my dad wanted me to be an accountant. So I studied accountancy. I failed in taxation, passed taxation, I failed in company law. In accountancy, you got to pass everything in one city. So I did that for 2 years. That's pretty young. I'm talking about late 60s, early 70s, so I gave that up. 1969, I gave up. So I said, I want to be an actress. So my dad said, okay, send you to drama school. I went to drama school, I quit after 3 months. And my dad said, now what? I said, I want to be a comedian. And he said, it's a joke. So that's how I started in stand-up comedy. And then I met my agents, Norway Management Agency. Things started happening. And my first ever television appearance that I did was New Avengers with Patrick Dooley and Joanna Lumley and Gareth Hunt.
What an iconic series to make your debut in. That must have been awe-inspiring.
It was 1975. I just lost my dad. I used to say to me, when I'm going to see you on television. Unfortunately, he didn't. He passed away. And 3 months later, I did New Avengers. Thanks, Dad. And he must be saying to me, at least the Black Sheep did something. But then again, I'm sure he's looking down and he's smiling.
I'm absolutely positive he is, right? Yes. You did such an incredible job of a wonderful career. I'm sure he is looking down and smiling from ear to ear. Well, let's just, before we talk about TV and film, being a stand-up comedian is a very difficult task, and I'm sure it was very different in the 70s than it is now. What do you see in differences in comedy between them and now?
Huge difference. Huge, you know, and stand-up comedy is very hard. Either you fall in your face and people laugh. But then again, I gave that up after 4 or 5 years. I said, are people laughing with me or are they laughing at me? It's a big difference.
Massive difference.
There is, you know, but then again, I thought, entertainment is an entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's a tough job to stand up there and make people laugh.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, it is, you know, and I'm glad I did that. I am. No regrets, I did. I'm very lucky to have worked the movies and the television and what I've done.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go deep into that then. So, one of your first feature films, I guess, was with a British icon, an institution, a national treasure, in Peter Sellers in The Pink Panther Strikes Again. What are your memories of working with Peter on that film?
I remember when I got that job, that was 1975, we were filming in Minden, in Belfast, and I was playing an Italian assassin. So, most of the crew got drunk. And Blake had to shut everything down and said, we're going to go and shoot that at Shackleton Studios.
Right, okay.
So, I thought, okay. So, I said, we'll see you at Shackleton Studio. And Peter Sellers said to me, no, you're not going to Shackleton Studio, you're going to come to Paris with us. So they took me to Paris.
Nice.
And that's 1975, and this is the first time I went to Paris. And I was going, oh my God. You know, on the time of Blake Edwards, the whole production. And I went to Paris, had an amazing time.
I bet you did. 1970s,
Seven,
young
yeah.
actor, let loose in Paris.
Yes.
I bet you had the best time.
Yes, I did, yes.
Incredible. And that led to so many other different variety of film and TV roles. But one of the most notable, which I'm sure we have got a big following for, was Doctor Who.
Yes,
We got any Doctor Who fans? I love the way that they raise their hands like they're in school. You can whoop, cheer and holler, guys. It's your Sunday. We got any Doctor Who fans?
Yeah, I'm
Excellent.
sure they are. That happened because, in my opinion, Arthur Tom Baker was the best doctor.
Oh,
That's my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not, all the doctors were amazing.
What did we think of Tom Baker as a doctor?
And that's my, and to play Mr. Sin
Yeah.
was a sin. But I enjoyed every moment of it. I did.
Exceptional, and such a wonderful role that you landed in that particular show, and that led to other different options for your career and opened up so many wonderful doors. And for those of you that didn't know, Deep Roy actually starred in one of the biggest movie franchises of all time. We had a slow rumbling for Doctor Who, but I'm sure we've got some Star Wars fans in our house, right? Make some noise for Star Wars!
Thank you. That Star Wars happened, it was 1977. And I know they were asking me to do the first one in 75, 76. I couldn't do it because I was working.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So you were asked to be in the first one.
Yes.
So did they give you any kind of character role that they
No, they
wanted
didn't.
you to
They asked, my agent said to me, and I said, look, I'm working, I can't do another place, another work, I can do
Yeah.
that, so, but it meant to be, and I did that in 78. We were filming in 77, the movie came out in 78, and then I did another one in 81, it was a Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back was the first one I did, and they asked me to do Yoda, and they said to me I was too tall. That made my day.
What a compliment.
They said to me, can you walk on the knees? I said, sure. So I did walk on the knees at that time, and it was a perspective long shot of me walking. And plus I worked with Frank Oz. Frank was the voice of Yoda.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and I worked with them again on Dark Crystal after that. So,
And it's all like one big family, isn't it? When you
it
work
is,
together.
it is.
And working with people like George Lucas and Jim Henson and Frank Oz, and for those of you that don't know, Frank Oz is also the voice of Fozzie Bear from
Yes,
the Muppets.
he
I
was.
bet it was an absolute hoot.
It was, they used to make laugh, Dark Crystal when things go wrong. And they would break into Muppets and all that stuff.
Amazing. Now, when it comes to being in a situation, in a scenario like that, you're filming one of the biggest movie franchises in the world. Now, albeit it's only the second film, we don't know how big Star Wars is going to become or what it is today, the huge media juggernaut. But are you a fan of the brand?
I'm a fan of all the brands.
Oh, correct.
You know, you can't pick and choose. I'm very lucky to have worked on Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who.
I know, and I think there's only 2 people that have done that. You're
Yes.
one of them.
And the other one was
Anybody know? Anybody know who the other one was?
Simon Pegg.
There you go, deeper
You
in.
know, and just saw him in Paris on Mission Impossible. And we did there, and amazing, you know. So,
He's a very vibrant actor and a wonderful
He
member of
is,
the Monopoly
he is.
Events family. So
He is.
yes, we love
he
him.
was just starting, they might do another Star Trek. That's what I've heard, so.
Oh, well, you might have just got a scoop right there, guys. We're all about the scoops here at Comic Con Mania Chester. Now, let's just go back to Yoda. How physically demanding was that for you?
It is, you know, I mean, I couldn't see, even though walking on the knees, and it's pretty hot. You know, not only that, I also did Droopy McCall.
Yes,
in
you
the
did,
band. And I also did in the other Star Wars, was it the last one, the last Star Trek that I did?
The last Star Trek or the
Yeah.
last Star Wars?
No, that's Star Wars, sorry, Star
Okay, yeah,
Wars. Where I played, done so many,
You've done so many roles. Sometimes they blur because there are so many wonderful roles that you've done.
Yeah.
Doing my research, let's talk a little bit about some of the wonderful roles that you've played for a legendary director in Tim Burton. Yeah, we've got Tim Burton fans in. I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
He starred in 3 films: Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, The Corpse Bride, and Big Fish.
Oh, nice. Can we have a round of applause for that knowledge? Yes. That was amazing.
and when I first met him, Planet of the Apes, 2001.
Oh,
That's when I first met him with Mark Wahlberg, Planet of the Apes. And I remember they mixed the shooting schedule.
Yeah.
And I was working also on X-Files in America. And they were both Fox shows. So Tim comes to me and he said, what are we going to do? I said, I'll do both. I'll work nighttime on X-Files, and during daytime I'll come work on Planet of the Apes. So I didn't sleep for 4 days.
That's Tim Burton for you.
Well,
cracks that whip, but he knows what he
that,
wants.
you know, but then it paid off, but then he asked me to do Big Fish.
Yeah.
And from Big Fish, everybody was asking me to do,
Corpse Bride.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Everyone was calling, so I said, everyone is calling, you know, why doesn't Tim call me? And they said to me, he's scared if I say no to him. How can you say no to Tim Burton? So that's how it started. It started with 4 Oompa Loompas. He wanted 4, and he said I want 7, another 6 people to dance with me, to wear my mask. So they wouldn't find another 6 to dance with me. So they brought in the kids from dance studios,
Yeah.
prolific dancers. They put me to shame. So I turned around to Tim. I said to him, it's not going to work. And he said to me, why? I said, you got to send them to school. We got 4 hours to shoot with them. Plus, they got to look at the marks.
Yeah.
And he said to me, now what? I said, I'll do it myself. And he said to me, I've got to give you a camera test. I said, give me a camera test for what? He said, you go 7 this way, 7 that way. It has to be equal distance. Because Oompa Loompas are like a regiment. No comedy. So he said, pick up a song that's not in the script. So I picked Tom Jones' song, It's Not Unusual to Have Fun with Animals.
Nice.
Which was, you know, and I did 7. He said, come and have a look. I said, well, let me do the other 7. So when we did the last 7:14, he said, "Are you going to come and have a look at it?" I said, "Yeah," which I did. And he said, "What do you think?" I said, "How about you?" He said, "No, I want your opinion." I said, "I did okay." He said, "Oh, that's great." So that's how it started.
That's amazing. Honestly, we've got so many wonderful fans of all the different brands that you've been a part of. What we do want to do is we want to open the floor to all our wonderful guests for questions and answers. So, if you do have a question, just like this young lady right here, just please feel free, throw your hands high, let us know, and we will come to you. We will take your question first.
Do you hope to do another Tim Burton film?
Good question. For those of our wonderful guests that are outside, the question was, would you like to do another Tim Burton film?
Who would you like to? Of course I want to. I mean, he's said to me that he's going to put me into Beetlejuice, but it never happened. But that's Tim. And he's asking me he might do something for me on Wednesday. So that, at least he's thinking.
Well, there's it's been recently reported there on the third Beetlejuice is in development.
No,
so
it's the
maybe-
second Beetlejuice, you know,
Oh,
they
right.
did, you know, this was the second one. And second season of Wednesday as well. At least he's thinking. And who knows? I think the future looks bright. That's the reason the sun came out.
That's the one. And as Deroy said before, who can say no to Tim Burton?
Of course, yeah.
Amazing. Wonderful question. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Kelly.
Kelly, wonderful
Thank you.
question. Can we have a round of applause for our questions? We are a fully inclusive group. We want to share some love. Now, we had a question down the front. What's your name, good sir? Dave, what's your question? All right. Don't get pushy, Dave. Let's see how well you do with number one.
When you turned the first Star Wars film down, did you realise what you were turning down? Did you expect it to go into...
Let me just ask it again, just so they can hear outside. So when you turned down the first Star Wars film, did you realise what you were turning down?
No, nobody knew. I didn't know that either. Plus I was working. If I wasn't working, I would have done it. You know, I worked with Ron Moody. He played Fagin. He won an Oscar. And he became pick and choosy. You know what he said to me? Never ever turn anything down.
What good advice that was.
That's what he said to me in 1979 when I was doing Benji's very own Christmas story. It was very funny. He said, "I wish I was a dog." That's what Ron Moody said to me. He said, "Look after the dog so well."
Yeah.
And I said, "Listen, my friend, you're an amazing actor. You won an Oscar. You're a great singer, a great dancer, you know, and a great actor as well. You was, you know."
What a great piece of advice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Don't turn anything down, and you've got to pick a pocket or two. What did he say?
Exactly. So,
Lived by a wonderful credo there, didn't he? Your second question.
What's the best decade for filmmaking? The 80s, 90s?
What is the best decade for filmmaking? The 80s, the 90s, now? What is your favourite all-time film decade?
every decade is good, in my opinion. You know, each decade changes as we progress. Sooner or later, AI is going to take over, in my opinion. And all the actors and actresses are going to be out of work. It's just the voices, not even the voices. So, movie industry has changed a lot. In my opinion, I thought 80s was the best years
I agree.
of the movies.
Everybody's opinion on the 80s?
But then again, all decades are great.
Absolutely.
And so,
Great questions, David. Round of applause for our wonderful questions from David. Yes, the 80s holds a beautiful place in our hearts. It is Ghostbusters Day after all today. So yes, we are repping the Ghostbusters. Our actual Ghostbusters are over the far side. We love all the different brands, and the 80s being a big one. There was another question down the front. Let's find out what we're going to ask, sir. Question about Flash. Get ready, get prepared.
yes,
Okay.
what was like, you know, we were on the leash. I've never been on the leash. was the son to have Rita Multi. And you know, what a beautiful actress she was. Like I said, work is work. Okay. Exactly, it was amazing. It was just so beautiful.
And you can hear Brian Blessed anywhere, I understand, on that set.
Of course you can. You know, I mean, it was amazing. He's an amazing singer.
Oh, he is. He's
What a
sensational.
voice.
He did Ness and Dormer for us
Yes.
not long ago
Yeah.
in Leicester, and he stole the show.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. Have we got any wonderful impersonators of Brian Blessed? Can anybody do a Gordon's Alive for us? Oh, very good. A round of applause for that man in the back. Yes.
Brian Blessed.
Superb, good sir. Superb.
Blessed, Brian Blessed.
He is a national
Amazing.
treasure
He is.
and my
What
personal
a
hero.
gentleman and amazing, amazing.
Did you know he once punched a polar bear on the nose to get out of a situation? What man does that?
I didn't know that. This is the first time I've heard.
He's climbed Everest 3 times,
Yeah.
and he delivered a baby under a tree and bit off the umbilical cord with his teeth. That is a man that is to be to be trifled
Wow.
with. Yes.
Yeah.
He's a star. Well, speaking of stars, we're coming back to Deep Roy, and I'm going to take a little segue, a little diversion away from all the wonderful sci-fi roles that you have been a part of, to a part of a wonderful comedy show called Eastbound and Down.
Wow. That was fun. And that's 2010.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Hawaii. I booked my seat. And my agent said to me, you got an audition. I said, I can't do it. I booked my seat. I want to go to Hawaii. What if I get the work? He said, yeah. So my mind was in Hawaii. So I went to the audition. So I skipped the whole page of dialogue. And the guy started laughing at me. And I said, what's so funny? He said, you skipped the whole page of that dialogue. I said, so what? He said, you're going to start all over again. I said, I'll mess it up again. I said, by the way, what's the name of this show? And he said, Eastbound and Down. Well, I can't swear because the kids are here. And I said, F, Eastbound and Down. I'm going to go to Hawaii. And he said, what else got to say next? I said, what do you want me to say? Another audition by Stardust. So I walked away. Next day I got a call. My agent said, they want you, but they want you to do Mexican accent. I said, no, this is what it is. Take it or leave it. He said, what if they said no? I said, it's their loss, not mine. So in the end, I worked, so I asked them, this is what I want. And in terms of, and they said, they're going to pay that much. I said, it doesn't matter. I mean, if not, I go to Hawaii.
There you go. You're pulling the strings right now. I like it.
Exactly. This is what it is, and that's what I did. And when we went to Puerto Rico, I see Danny McBride and Will Ferrell, and they were telling me it was so funny. All the HBO executives were laughing so hard. They said, you were the first one. We already made up our mind that you're going to be playing Aaron.
You could have doubled your price and they'd have still said yes.
So I played Aaron.
Yeah.
So I just saw Danny McBride like a couple of months ago in LA. And they're writing something. Let's see. I might work with him again.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Eastbound and Down? Anybody checked it out? Okay, so go out of your way this week to find it.
Second season is one and done.
That's the one. That's the one. Second season. So check out first season. Get your foundations ready, and it's not for the kids. Find how you're testing me now, but I'm sure you will find it on many of our wonderful streaming platforms. So yeah, check it out. Make sure you go out of your way to find Eastbound and Down, because you will see Deep Roy in a completely different light than what you have seen him before. It is expletive laid, and he is a completely unique character. We loved it. Now, have we got any more questions, guys? Please feel free, throw your hands if there are any further, or have we got any? There's a couple at the back. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
What's your name, sir?
Alex.
Alex.
Georgia.
Hi, Georgia. What is your question?
My question was, what is your favorite part in the Oompa Loompa role in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah,
They're
what was
all
your
good. You
favorite?
know, my favorite one is Mike Treevy, because when I asked him, have you got anything for Mike Treevy? He said, no. I said, I want to be a rock band. He said, do you play any instrument? I said, no. He said, how can you be a rock band? So I learned how to play the piano, the drums and all that.
And guitars.
And the guitar and the left hand and all that. So for me, Mike Treevy was the best.
Okay.
I think we agree with that.
Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory fans, do you remember Deep Roy rocking it out on Mike TV? Oh, yes. You had to grow your hair for quite a while for that role, right?
It was good. It was amazing, you know. I mean, hard work, but then again, it paid off. They were counting. I did 168 individual Oompa Loompas.
My goodness, 168. So if you think you're having a bad day, think about Deep Roy and the sacrifices that he made for you guys.
Yeah.
Each song took a month to rehearse, month to shoot. So, man.
That's amazing. Well, can we have a round of applause, please, for the Oompa Loompas? Yes. Massive parts of so many people's childhoods. Hi, how you doing? Okay, great. Shall I ask you for outside as well? If you've watched all the Star Wars films, which one would be your favourite one?
Wow. You're asking me if I like BMW or Mercedes. I thought Empire was the best in my opinion.
I agree. What's everybody think? Empire?
Empire.
Yeah, a couple of nods out there.
Yeah, so, but they were all good. But Empire, my favorite was the Empire Strikes, you know. So,
And it had the best character in it as Walking Yoda.
that's what it is. Not only that, Droopy McCall.
Oh yeah, as well, yeah, lovely. Double payday. Any further questions, guys, or are we all wrapping before I hit some quick fire questions at Deep Roy? All good? Beautiful. Now, we've got a few questions that I'm going to fire at you and see if you can rack your brain and think of some of the most obscure answers that you possibly can. What has been the strangest item that anybody has ever asked you to sign?
Well, kids are here. I've signed ladies.
Handbags?
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And they want a tattoo. I've signed the arms and all that stuff, and the tattoo. Mind boggles when, you know, for me. I mean, I was going, that's strange. Right?
Well, you never know. You might have somebody in the house today that will get them to sign their arm and you'll have a Deep Roy forever on their body. Anybody fancy that? No? Lovely. Let's carry on from there. What is the best gift that anybody has ever given you at a Comic-Con?
For me,
Yeah.
I like when people come and show up, and I want to thank each and every one of them
Oh, that's so
from the
nice.
bottom of my heart that they take the time to come and see me.
Oh, that's so nice. Can we have a round of applause for that?
And
I felt that in my heart.
I like you. You know, without them, there won't be any Comic-Cons.
You're right.
They're the ones who make the Comic-Cons. They're the big stars. They are, in my opinion.
They are. They are. They are. We are a fully inclusive community. We are expanding ourselves near and far, all the way across the world. And thanks to each and every one of you for being a part.